Hello, welcome to Verbling. I'm teacher Oakley. In today's class, we're going to conclude our three-part series on perfect continuous tenses. In fact, we're going to conclude our month of January verb tenses today by looking at future perfect continuous verb tense. We will check out the forms. Yes, I said forms, plural. The two forms, and then we'll examine a couple of uses, how the future perfect continuous is used. We'll look at some examples, and you, the students, will then attempt to make your own sentences, which I will, of course, help you with. And we'll look at a few other related points about future tenses and continuous tenses that you should know about. Okay, let me welcome some students to the class. Hello, Alexander. How are you?
Hello, fine, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. Nice to see you again. Hello, Heidi again.
Hello, nice to see you again.
Hi there. And Rocio is with us. Hi, Rocio.
Yes. Yes, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you. And you?
I'm good, thanks. All right, let's get started. If others would like to join the class, you can feel free to jump in anytime. No problem. Okay, let's take a look at this crazy future perfect continuous. First, we're going to check out the forms. All right, here we go. All right, as I mentioned in my introduction, there are two different forms for future perfect continuous. They are will, have been doing, and be going to have been doing. Wow, that's a mouthful. Okay, one good thing about the future perfect continuous, the forms are interchangeable as far as the use or the purpose. It doesn't matter, so it's speaker's choice which form of the verb you care to use. Much also, future perfect tenses, same thing. There's different forms. It doesn't matter how you use them. It's really only simple future forms that will have a difference. The will form and the going to, or be going to form in the simple future are used for different things. We use be going to talk about things that are planned or scheduled, and we tend to use will in the future form, in the simple future form, to talk to make offers or to volunteer to do things. In the simple future form, we can use both to just make predictions. So the simple future is a little more complicated. Here, future perfect continuous makes no difference. Either form will work for the purposes we need this tense for. All right, so again, the first form, will have been, always the same. Doesn't change depending on I, he, she, they. Makes no difference. I will have been, they will have been, he will have been. Makes no difference. Plus the present participle or the ing form of the main verb. So, for example, you, subject noun, in a normal statement sentence, will have been waiting the entire verb construction for more than 2 hours when her plane finally arrives. In the question form, as always, we're going to take the first helper verb or auxiliary verb, in this case, will, and transpose or reverse it with the subject noun. Will you have been waiting for more than 2 hours when her plane finally arrives. Okay. And in the negative form, notice placement of not immediately following the first auxiliary. So again, you will not have been waiting for more than 2 hours when her plane finally arrives. Of course, in normal spoken English, when we say will not, we normally reduce it, or we use the contracted form won't. So it would be much more normal in spoken English to say you won't have been waiting for more than 2 hours when her plane finally arrives. Okay. All right. There is a second form. Look at this monster. Okay. All right. Well, here it is. Okay. The verb to be, depending on if we're talking in first, second, or third person, I am, he, she, or it is, they, we, or you are. And then this entire construction here in the middle, going to have been. All right, the entire thing. And then finally, our present participle of our main verb. So, looks like this. Same idea with the construction, the subject first, then the verb. You are going to have been waiting for more than 2 hours when her plane finally arrives. The difference between this form, again, and this form with will is nothing. Zero. Nada. Zilch. Doesn't make any difference. It changes, does not affect the meaning of the sentence in any way. Okay, in the question form, same thing. You're going to take the first auxiliary here, put it in the front. Are you going to have been waiting for more than 2 hours when our plane finally arrives? And in the negative form, again, not following the first auxiliary. You are not going to have been waiting, blah, 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 for more than 2 hours when our plane finally arrives. And again, we normally, I could contract you and are. You're not going to have been waiting. That's possible, and it's not wrong. It's okay to do that. However, most people probably in spoken English would contract the auxiliary and the negative, not. So you aren't going to have been waiting for more than 2 hours. Okay. Again, I've already said it 3 times now. No difference in meaning. Okay, let's look at uses and then how this verb tense is used. All right. Looking here at the diagram, we're talking about duration before something in the future. Okay. So the idea is we're going to use this verb tense, future perfect continuous, to show something will continue up until a particular event or time in the future. Notice the diagram here, the green line could start in the past and continue up until something in the future. Okay. Doesn't matter when in the past it started, up until a time in the future. All right. Now, looking at the examples, okay, let's see. You are going to have been waiting for more than 2 hours when our plane finally arrives. When did the person start waiting? Well, we don't really know. What we really do know is the duration, how long this green line takes for 2 hours. So I don't really know, actually, if this green line begins an hour ago, 2 seconds ago, if it starts now. I don't really know. It could even start in the future. All I know is the duration of this green line, and I know that it basically ends, boom, with this purple X. We show the duration by using phrases like for 5 minutes, for 2 weeks, or possibly since phrases, since clauses, since Friday. These are common. Okay, very close. This is related to present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous. Of course, the duration stops at. Okay, now this is important. The duration stops at or before a reference point in the future. That reference point could be an action or a specific time, and that is represented by the purple X in the diagram here. Okay, so at or before, absolutely not after. So this purple X is a finite, boom, one time that the future continuous stops again at or before. All right. Looking at examples. They, subject noun, will have been talking for over an hour by the time Thomas arrives. There's another time phrase that we use with future perfect continuous very commonly. By the time Thomas arrives. All right, the other form, she is going to have been working at that company for 3 years. There's our duration when it finally closes. Okay, here we're using when to add another clause or another action. It closes. James will have been teaching at the university, and here's our time clause, for more than a year. Actually, we have two. By the time. All right. He leaves for Asia. All right. So again, the duration stops at or before a reference point. Oh, look, there's more. In a question form, notice this construction with the how long form. How long will you have been studying when you graduate? Okay. Again, talking about a duration, and when you graduate, that's the purple X. All right. Okay, here's another slightly different way to use it. We are going to have been driving for over 3 days. For over 3 days straight. There's your time clause. So the time clauses can be different. All right, you've seen when, by the time, for over 3 days. All right, there's for 3 years. Okay, so different ways to phrase it or connect the two clauses. The fact is you're going to have two actions, the duration, which leads up to, and then the second clause with a time. Now, it's possible that this purple X could be, there's no good examples here. This future X could be an actual time. We will have been working on the project for 2 years by 2017. Okay, by January 1st, 2017. Okay, could be a specific time mentioned here instead of a specific action that happens. Okay, you will notice that there are, in all my examples here, there is a word, the verb, in the purple X, the interrupting clause. There's a verb, which it has something in common. They're in italics, but furthermore, more importantly, arrives, leaves, closes. When you graduate, you will notice they are all in simple present tense. Okay, so the purple X is in present tense. The green line, future perfect continuous. All right, simple present rather than simple future. There's a very important reason for this, and you should definitely know, understand, and memorize this rule. Future events are in time clauses using when, for example. You cannot use a future tense in a time clause. In any time clause, any future tense in any time clause at any time is never allowed in English. Okay. I've talked long enough. Time for you guys to try to make a sentence. Heidi, I'm going to... Oh, sorry, Alexander was first in today. So, Alexander, I'm going to start with you, actually.
Should I make up a sentence?
Absolutely.
Okay. I will have been studying on Verbling before my for 9 days before my subscription ends.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me catch up to you.
For 9 days.
days.
Before my subscription ends.
Okay. Notice use of before as our time clause subordinator. A word like this, before, while, when, these are called subordinators. They introduce a subordinate clause or a dependent clause. Okay. Means it needs another part of the sentence in order. It can't stand on its own. It can't. In order to be a sentence, it needs something else. It needs some help. It cannot be an independent clause or a simple sentence by itself. So, okay, Alexander has given us an example with a different subordinator before, and there's nothing wrong with this. I will have been studying on Verbling for 9 days before my subscription ends. Slight problem with this, Alexander, and that is this sentence indicates to me that your subscription lasts 9 days. But I know that's not true. But you're talking about from now. So it would be more appropriate to say I will have been studying on Verbling for 9 more days. Because you're talking about from now, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right. So you can do that, and I have no problem with that. That means Alexander's green line begins at the present, lasts in duration up until the subscription ends. So he's starting clearly at the present. He's talking about from now, and he does that by using more. More days.
Give more full information.
That's right. It makes it clearer. Absolutely. But this is perfectly okay. And it actually demonstrates how the green line can start at right now, but we have to be a little bit more descriptive or use words to make that clear that we're starting from right now. Okay, that's a great example, actually. Thank you, Alexander. All right. Let me welcome Max. Hey, Max.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Took you a couple attempts, but I see you're here now. Terrific. All right. Welcome to the class. I'll give you a shot in a minute. Let you get settled here and look at a couple more examples. Heidi, could you give me an example, please?
Okay, I already wrote on the chat box. Problem.
Okay, hang on. I'll take the easy way. Attempt to copy paste it. Hang on. All right, let's take a look at it. Okay, let me make that a little bigger so we can actually look at it. Okay. I don't know how long time I will have been waiting. So she doesn't know how long. Waiting for when I catch a taxi. Okay, I don't know. Okay, it's slightly awkward. I got the meaning.
Yeah, it's kind of experimental. So
Sure. Okay.
I
This
made
is
that.
this is interesting. Very interesting because most of our earlier, we know exactly how long the duration is. Over 3 days straight. Okay. More than a year. For 3 years. Okay. So she's expressing the idea she doesn't know how long that duration is, but it is a duration. Very interesting example, actually.
For example, it's heavy rain, so people want to get taxi. There are
Sure.
many people in the place. I'm waiting for the taxi for several minutes, but I don't know how long time I will have been waiting for when I can catch a taxi.
Uh-huh. Yes, it's extremely practical and useful, a sentence. So let's look at it a little more carefully. No, it absolutely makes sense, and it's very logical and quite useful to use future perfect continuous in this way. It's slightly awkward just because of the wording. I don't know how long time. How long a time, maybe, is one way to do it. There's
How long a time? Okay.
Okay, that's definitely, there's nothing wrong with that. Or you could say, I don't know how, I don't know how long, instead of a time, just get rid of a time. I don't know how long I will have been waiting.
Mm-hmm. It's better. Remove that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe you can get rid of. I don't know how long I will have been waiting for when I can catch a taxi. When I and just a suggestion, not necessary, but just to again, like adding more to Alexander's sentence, just to make it a little bit clearer. When I finally can catch a taxi.
Okay. Yeah.
Just to emphasize the idea that make it a little bit clearer. All right, that's very interesting. Very interesting indeed. It's expressed that she doesn't know the duration. All right. But again, we have this subordinator when I finally can catch a taxi. All right, can, present tense, great. All right, interesting example. That's a good one. Okay. Good examples today. Rocio, what do you got for me? Rocio. Yes? Oh, okay, it's over there. Okay. I see. Okay, hang on a second. Let me do the lazy man's way and copy paste again. Okay. All right, let's take a look here. I will have been working. All right, correct. Everyone's forming their verb tense correctly. That's great. I will have been working over 5 hours. Until the English class starts. First of all, obviously I need a period here. Secondly, real quick, English here has to be capitalized. All right. Whatever, English, French, Russian, Italian, Japanese. When we're talking about a language, it's always capitalized. Okay. Okay, don't really like until here. Well, let me think about this a second. That's a tough one. I will have been working over 5.
I think when is better.
I think it's better too, but I'm trying to think of how I can explain why it doesn't really fit. Another thing, it also would make it a little clearer to have 4 here. 4 over 5 hours. Frankly, this 4 here, I have to admit that sometimes English speakers in natural speech, grammatically, the for really kind of needs to be there because you're to make it clearer. I know you're making a prepositional phrase with over 5 hours, but it does make it clearer. In real spoken English, sometimes we do something called ellipsis. We drop words that would be written. We drop them when we speak. For, actually, I should note that using future perfect continuous, we would often drop the for. This would be common, but I think it should be there. Yeah, until does not work here. I cannot say I will have been working for over 5 hours until. How would I say that if I want to use until in the future? First of all, well, I'm trying to think. What is a better way to do this?
Before?
Well, you could use, yeah, you could use I will have been working before, but you could use before or when here instead of until. But I agree with both you and Heidi. Either one of these would be a much better sentence, but I'm.
Or by the time.
Yeah, like a specific time until, I don't know, 7 p.m. Now, how can we make a sentence with until 7 p.m.? Can we even make a sentence? I will be busy until 7 p.m. I can just really use simple future. It seems awkward to bother to. All right. I will be busy. All right. Working. All right. I can use a different way to say that. It seems a lot clearer than using future perfect continuous. Yeah, see, the problem, okay, maybe the problem is, well, I don't really know, but this is very awkward with until. It just totally does not sound right. There must be a rule, but I'm not sure what it is. It does not sound right. I'm trying to think of a way to use future perfect continuous with until, and I just really can't do it. My brain won't go there. No problem, Rocio. Nice to see you back.
Okay.
I mean, I worked until for example, just, you know, when we use until, even past tense, even in simpler sentences, I was working until the bell rang. That doesn't sound right to me. It totally does not work. We just don't use continuous. I don't think it's a matter of future perfect continuous. I think it's a matter of we just don't normally use any kind of continuous tense with until. We just use a simple tense or a perfect tense, but we just don't use a continuous with until. I really don't have a definitive answer for you there, but I cannot bend my brain around the idea of using any continuous tense with until. Past, future, simple continuous, just won't work for me. It sounds very awkward. I'm not sure, to be honest, if it's grammatically okay, technically speaking correct or not. I just cannot, for me as an English speaker, it seems very, very strange. So I'm just going to have to leave you with that. Max, can you give me an example?
I will have been going best pains.
Going what?
Maybe not going, maybe taking best pains.
Best pains?
Yeah, to improve my English all my life.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
Is it idiom?
Yeah, he's trying, but he's got it slightly wrong. I'll fix it in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, it is an idiom, which is why I didn't recognize it. Will have been taking. It's not best. For some reason, it.
Great. Oh yeah, great.
Yeah. Taking great pains. This is an idiom here, but it has to be exactly this way. What's that, Max?
Going great pains.
No.
It's okay or not?
No,
okay.
It's not okay. I had no idea what you were talking about. I was completely baffled. And even taking best pains, I had to figure it out. Even that was what?
Okay.
Okay. Now I understand. All right. You've got to do some idioms. This is a very good example of an idiomatic expression which has to be exactly correct, or it just will be incomprehensible. Some idioms are like that. Okay. To improve my English all my life. Well, we've certainly got a duration. I will have been taking great pains to improve my English all my life. So what is your purple X? I will have been taking great pains all my life.
My death.
Your death. Okay. What a morbid sort of example sentence. Okay. Another very interesting example here. You guys are full of interesting examples today. I will have been taking great pains to improve my English all my life. Okay, here the purple X is clearly implied. He's absolutely correct. I think this is an okay sentence. I think this is perfectly okay. There is a clear ending in which the action can no longer progress afterwards because he'll be dead. Wow. Oh, heavy. That is an interesting one. Very interesting examples. Wow. Okay. Oh, that is very interesting. Okay, let's look at another kind of use, but very similar to what we've already been talking about. The cause of something in the future. Cause and effect. Those of you who were with me yesterday looking at past perfect continuous know that we use past perfect to talk about obviously an effect in the past. We use past perfect continuous. We can use future perfect continuous to talk about cause and effect in the future. Okay, let's straight up look at some examples. Jason will be tired when he gets home. All right, well, there's our simple present tense. There's our effect, our result. Okay, because why? Because he will have been jogging for over an hour. All right, when he gets home indicates it's in the future. All right, great. Here's a nice big sentence. Claudia's English will be perfect when she returns to Germany. Why? Because she's going to have been studying English in the United States for over 2 years, and we still have our duration over 2 years, over an hour. Okay, I think that's fairly straightforward. Let's give this a try. Alexander?
I will be stronger before. Oh no, I will be stronger because I I have been working out till the summer and till the championship or competition, I would say.
Okay. I'm just going to say the competition.
Competition, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
Until or till? Just till. How?
Until are pretty much interchangeable. I would highly suggest if you're writing, you use until, and if you're speaking, use till. It's just a reduced form. It's really the same exact word. Okay. Till is obviously a reduced form. Okay, but here we've got until again. Okay, and we have, this is present perfect continuous. This is not future.
Oh, I will have. I missed. Sure, I will.
I will have been working out.
In this form, can I use instead of going to gonna, or only going to?
In spoken English, yeah, you can always use gonna. You can always reduce.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Let me get back. Okay, two things here. Let me get back to that in a second. With this second form, you're gonna have been waiting. You're gonna have been waiting for more than 2 hours. When we're using going to as a helper verb or auxiliary, yeah, you're instead of you are, you're gonna have been waiting. Okay, yeah, sure, you can reduce pronunciation with this verb tense pretty much every time because it's not the main verb. An important point there to remember, you cannot reduce a main verb, but any auxiliary verbs or helper verbs can pretty much always be reduced. Okay, let's take a look at this. I will be stronger. Okay, so I will be stronger. All right, well, okay, this is an independent clause because so he's got an extra clause rather than what we've been looking at. That's okay. Because I will have been working out. Okay, well, here we've got a continuous tense using until.
Or before when the competition starts.
Yeah,
Like
but I don't really have a problem with until here. It doesn't seem so weird to me in this case. I can even modify it slightly, and it really makes sense to me because I will have been working out. For example,
by the time, maybe
up
by
until
the time the competition starts.
Or I can use this construction too. Let me introduce you to this. Up until the competition. Okay, that means before, as we noted in the very beginning. Where is it? Very important part here. The duration stops at or before a reference point in the future. So if I use up until, that means before the competition, that reference point. I think that's okay. So maybe I have to eat my words a little bit. I was talking about maybe we shouldn't use until with continuous tense, but I think Alexander has given me cause to doubt my own words there. I think this sentence is okay. All right. Maybe it was just a matter of clarity. It's a little bit unclear in the other sentences, but this is quite clear to me. I can understand this, especially with the construction up until. That helps a lot clarify it. Okay, interesting. Thank you. Thank you, Alexander. Heidi, can you give me an example to show cause and effect? Yeah.
I'm not sure it's okay or not. She
All right.
will have itchy feet. because she won't have been going abroad. For 3 years.
Okay.
By next month.
Okay. A little extra information by next month. Don't even think it's necessary, but maybe you need to add that. That's not wrong. I think it's okay. Wait a minute. She will have itchy feet. Okay, this is simple future, right? Because she negative won't have been, will not have been going abroad. Will not have been going. Okay. For 3 years. Oh, okay. There's your time. There's your purple X. Ah, okay. So, all right. Independent clause here, a subordinate clause here, and then oh yeah. So you do need by next month. Okay. Okay. She won't have been going abroad. I think here you have an option, just because of the nature of the verb, because she won't have gone abroad for 3 years. I think this is one of the cases where you have an option of using a continuous tense or not. Do you want to emphasize the verb, she won't have been going abroad, or do you want to emphasize the result more, she won't have gone abroad? The result of the fact that she hasn't gone abroad is she will have itchy feet, which may make more sense, but I guess it's okay. There's more emphasis on the verb. As always with a continuous, if you choose to use a continuous verb tense, if you have an option, first of all, you may not have an option, but if you have an option and you choose to use a continuous construction, it's because you wish to emphasize the verb and the fact that the verb takes duration rather than the result of whatever action it is. You want to highlight the action itself. So this is a case where it's debatable which you'd be highlighting, but basically it's okay. Another controversial element to this sentence I should mention is by next month. Okay, your purple X, as it were, is by next month. Is this considered a specific time? Well, yeah, I think it is. When we say by next month in English, it's kind of implied. If I say by next month, it's implied that I mean by February 1st, for example, because we're in January right now. So it's more or less implied that I mean, okay, the work will be done by next month. It's implied that I mean by February 1st. In fact, sometimes when we don't want to imply that, we may actually modify this phrase by sometime. Whoops. By sometime next month. The work will be done by sometime next month. To make it not clear, not specific. This is very common, actually. There's a big difference by next month, by sometime next month. Big difference in meaning there. This is important for you guys that are using English in business to avoid misunderstanding there. All right, thank you. Another interesting example. Thank you. You guys are really giving me great and interesting examples today. Rocio, are you connected?
Yes.
You are connected. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Can you give me another one to kind of show a cause and effect situation? Jason will be tired when he gets home.
Yes. My mother will be happy when she arrives because we are. We
Okay.
are going to have been cooking her birthday cake.
Ah.
This is the verb in chat.
You can paste. Copy and paste. You can.
Oh, yeah, there it is over there. Okay. I was trying to keep up with her. All right, there it is. My mother will be happy when she arrives because we're going to have been cooking her birthday cake. Oh, that's lovely. That's a good one. Okay. There you go. Oopsie. Okay. Sure, that'll work. Because we are going to have been, using going to have been even. Cooking her birthday. All right. When she arrives, okay, there's our present tense time clause. Because, okay. Notice every one of these, when we're doing it right, we have a independent clause, she will be happy, a dependent clause, or a time clause by next month, up until the competition, and then another dependent clause with our future perfect continuous tense to show the cause of something. All right, very good. Excellent. Max, you want to try one?
And again, it's like experiment. An
Okay.
experiment.
That's what we're here for.
I wrote it for you. Just
Okay.
don't
All right.
type in.
All right.
I'm gonna dead as a smart and full of myself person. Because I'm going to have been learning tons of different stuff.
Oh my God. Very morbid today. Okay. You can't be gonna dead. Dead is an adjective.
Pass away.
So you can say I'm going to be dead, or I'm going to die.
Okay.
Okay. Now wait a minute. So this is simple future. I'm going to. Can I change this to die?
Okay. Yeah, of course.
All right. Obviously reduced form. This is okay because all right. Spoken, it would sound like this. Of course, in writing, you should never write gonna, just because writing is more formal. But okay, I'm gonna die as a smart. A smart. There's no such thing as a smart.
Just smart.
I'm gonna die smart. Okay, so all right, you have two options here. You can say as a genius and a fool, using nouns, or you can say I'm going to die as, or I'm going to die. Just get rid of as. I'm going to die smart and foolish. Okay, I have no idea what this is. It's totally unnecessary.
Okay.
We know it's you. You don't need a reflexive pronoun because we know you're already talking about yourself just from the subject noun. Don't need this. This is totally unnecessary. Okay. Because now, here we go. Here's the cause. I am going to have been learning tons of different stuff. There we go. Yeah. That's it. I'm going to die smart and foolish, although I don't know the logic. Why foolish? Why not just smart? Why are you going to die foolish? Because you've learned lots of stuff. You've learned too many things? Is that the idea?
Yeah, I think people who learn a lot of very
Useful
often seems like foolish. They are like full of themselves.
Full of themselves. Now you can use a reflexive pronoun. They are full of themselves. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at something here before we run out of time. If you do not include a duration, which I kept insisting on all class, such as for 5 minutes for 2 weeks, or since Friday. Many English speakers choose to use future continuous rather than a future perfect continuous. You have to be careful, however, because this can possibly change the meaning of the sentence. Future continuous, not perfect, emphasizes the idea of an interrupted action, whereas future perfect continuous emphasizes the duration of time before something in the future. For example, let's take a look here. Okay. All right, looking at the first example. He will be tired. All right. Because he will be exercising so hard. Okay. The sentence emphasizes that he will be tired because he will be exercising at that exact moment in the future. Right. So at that specific time, he may be continuing to exercise afterwards. In other words, this is a future continuous, not perfect, not future perfect continuous. The idea is that sometime in the middle of his exercising, he'll be tired. All right. In the second example, he will be tired because he will have been exercising so hard. Again, going back to that duration ends at or before some interrupting action. He'll suddenly tired, which is a weird thing to say. Okay, but he will be tired because he will have been exercising so hard. Actually, I don't even like this idea. It says here it's possible that he will still be exercising at that moment, or that he will have just finished. Well, he would have to stop exercising at that moment. Again, I keep going back to this. I know, but I think this is really the most important, maybe the most important clause in the entire sentence. With the future perfect continuous, the duration stops at or before a reference point. So it really wouldn't work if he continued to exercise. You really should not be using future perfect continuous. I disagree with this. You may be exercising at that second. He may be stopping right then. But really, it means that he's not continuing. Again, quick reminder, no future and time clauses. You cannot use future perfect continuous in any time clauses that begin with words like when, while, before, after, by the time, as soon as. Important one to remember, if or unless. Yes, if and unless are time subordinators, so they do start time clauses. Can't use any future tense with these clauses. Just to give you a quick look at the passive form, just to show you how totally crazy it is, especially the second form. The famous artist, in the active form, is going to have been painting the mural for over 6 months. And that's regular active form we've been looking at all day, or for the last hour. The mural in the passive form, look at this monstrosity. It is going to have been being painted. Again, who did it? We add by the famous artist for over 6 months by the time it is finished. Okay, what a monstrosity. Passive forms are not common. This is very rare because there's normally going to be a much more normal way of saying this. Okay, so in the passive form will have been, okay, we have the been, the past participle, and then the present, and then the past participle of the verb. But anyway, very complicated there. That's what it looks like. You really don't have to worry about it because it's very, very, very rare, especially in speaking. No one is ever going to say this giant mouthful of grammar. It's just silly. Awesome. Okay. Anyway, thank you very much. We are out of time, so wish you all a good day. Thank you very much. Great examples today. Thank you for your help.
Thank you, teacher.